Hello, I'm Tony Perkins, President of the Family Research Council here in Washington, D.C. Last year, the California State Legislature passed and Governor Jerry Brown signed SB 48 into law. Now, under this new law, public schools are required to teach children as young as 5, not only to accept, but also to endorse transgender, bisexual, and homosexual identity and behavior. What could that look like for parents and children? We only have to see what has already happened in Massachusetts for a preview of coming attractions.
Beginning in 2005, our son Jacob was going into kindergarten, and he came home with a diversity book bag. And in the diversity book bag was a book entitled Who's in a Family by Robert Scutch, and that introduces children to same-sex households.
Back in March of this year, our son came home Friday afternoon and bounded in the front door and said, "Mom, Dad, guess what? Our teacher read us the funniest book. It was so silly. It was about a prince who was getting married, but he didn't marry a princess. He married a prince." That afternoon, we sent the teacher an email message. The teacher called back and said that yes, it was a book about two princes who got married. King and King. It's a story that introduces the idea of men having a romantic relationship and getting married. We were shocked.
And your son is how old?
He's 7 years old, in 2nd grade.
And they read this book to him?
Yes, in the formal classroom setting with this teacher as an authority figure presenting this concept as something that is good and right and the way things should be.
After the diversity book bag came home, we realized that the intention of the administrators and teachers was to affirm these relationships and gay marriage in the minds of children. When we went into the school, what we requested is parental notification when these issues are brought up by adults within the school, and the option to opt our child out of this type of indoctrination.
And then she said, well, she had checked with the administrators and they had said that this was not a parental notification issue.
One of the reasons they give is they said same-sex marriage is legal in Massachusetts. Therefore, we can broach it anytime with your child.
So when she would not acknowledge our parental rights in this area, we then went to our Judeo-Christian beliefs and our faith and said, well, you wish to affirm homosexuality to our son. You're presenting that which is sin as though it is not to our son, and we cannot allow that.
To make a long story short, the accommodation they gave was to put me in handcuffs and send me to jail. And they were willing to handcuff a father and send him to jail. It was a 6x8 cell, filthy. But, you know, I felt I didn't have a choice at that point in order to fulfill my role and duty as a father. So we filed a lawsuit. Long story short, the district court said that they didn't think we have a parental right to be notified in this.
The federal court judge Mark Wolf ruled to dismiss our case. Every citizen should take the time to go read his judgment. He spoke about this book, Changing Minds, in which, to paraphrase, he believes that it's the school's job to change the minds of the young children, that they are indeed young and impressionable.
So it's translating directly into what the courts did on gay marriage, and then teaching the children it's okay. And in fact, you could be gay too. I even put this concern to the chairman at the time of the school committee. A little girl saying, "I love my girlfriend, I must be gay." And he said, "David, I have no problem with that whatsoever, about children being told this and thinking they're gay at a very early age."
What has happened to these parents and children is unthinkable. Yet, elected state officials in California have voted to do something very similar. The good news is that Californians have a unique right that some states don't have, and that is the ability to collect petition signatures for a ballot referendum to repeal bad legislation like SB 48. The challenge before us is that we have to collect 700,000 new and valid petitions by July the 11th. So sign the petition and encourage your family, your friends, and your fellow church members to do the same. Visit ClassAct2012.com. A referendum will give we the people the opportunity to repeal this horrible legislation and protect our children from indoctrination. Again, visit ClassAct2012.com.